shares on Kesiv and Meichik, writing and erasing things on Shabbos. So first we'll give general klolin, and then we'll go down into different practical cases about like eating cakes with letters on it, and or svarim that have writing on the pages on the sides. So the malacha of Kesiv and Meichik was done in the Mishkan. Where was it done in the Mishkan? That they had to set up all the beams in the Mishkan to line them up one with another. So each beam had different ones that it fit with. So how did they know which one belonged with which beam? So the way they would set it up, they would put numbers. This one, like the numbers, the letters.
Like some people
like by the sukkah boards. You have to label each one. This corner goes with this corner. And sometimes they would make a mistake, so they would have to erase it and then rewrite it. So from there we learn out the Isser of Kesiv and of writing and erasing on Shabbos. Now, what are there? But there are a bunch of rules, conditions for it to be over the Isser. That the shir to be chayev for writing and erasing on Shabbos is 2 letters. But if someone did less than 2 letters, he's not chayev. But even though he's not chayev, it's still asur min ha'Torah. The next thing is that it needs to be something that lasts. Both the right thing you're writing, the ink, and the thing you're writing on. Like for example, if you write something with fruit with juice, even though you could see the letters, but it's going to evaporate and dry up. So you're not chayev.
But wait, when you say 2 letters, two letters, so min ha'Torah is chayev what, a carbon or?
Yes, if he did a b'mezid, he's chayev. Yeah, and if he did b'shegeg, he's chayev a carbon.
But it's also to do even one, you say min ha'Torah.
Even one, min ha'Torah. Because chatzi shir is asur min ha'Torah.
Asur min ha'Torah. Now I want to ask you, is that just the ICS and the Aleph phase, or could be English?
So la halacha we hold that also English. There's a shitta.
French.
There is a shitta who says no, but la halacha we hold that all letters you're chayev for, all languages. And the truth is, even if it's not language, it's just symbols. If you're putting a certain symbol that has a meaning, like a Magen David or something, you would also be chayev. Also for different symbols.
So in other words, writing on Shabbos is an Isser D'Oraisa.
Yeah, exactly. And erasing. And so mostly they're the same, but there's some differences, as we'll see. So first of all, it needs to be something that's going to last. If you write with fruit juice, or if you write on leaves or on vegetables, you're going to be patur because it's not going to last. It's not real writing.
What if the window is vapor and the window the kids do with their fingers?
So that's also min ha'Torah. There's no isser, but mid'Rabbanan it's asur because it doesn't last. It's going to go away soon.
Yeah. So
that would be in the same category. That case is mentioned in the Pri Megadim. Mentions that case. Else there's also, if you only chayev if you write and erase the normal way writing, but if you write something with your foot, you put a pen in your foot or in your mouth, you're going to be patur. That's another condition. And also another thing is, if you write one letter, you need to write 2 letters, but if you write one letter at the edge of this paper and one other letter at the edge of this paper, even though they're in 2 separate places, you're still going to be chayev, because if you bring it together, it ends up being 1 word. You have 2 letters together. So why do I care if they're far? It's the same thing. If they're far or they're close, you wrote 2 letters. It equals the same thing.
Wait, in other words, it has to be a word. That's why it's a minimum of 2 ICS.
So Aleph and base is already a word.
Right, no, any 2 letters.
Yeah. So it has to be that if you could bring them together, you're going to be chayev even if they're apart. Next thing is that, right, we already said before that other languages you're also chayev for. And now by erasing there's some differences. Even though by erasing you're not just chayev if you erase 2 letters. Erasing you're only going to be chayev if you erase 2 letters, having in mind to write 2 other letters in its place. Because that's the way they did in the Mishkan. They would only erase things in order. They would erase the numbers when there was a mistake. And when you make a mistake, you erase it and you write another one in its place. So when erasing letters on Shabbos, you're really only chayev for only when you have in mind to write other letters in its place, even if you only have in mind to write it later during the week. Still, you're going to be chayev when you erase it.
And if you erase it not to write anything, you're not chayev?
You're not. It's asur, but you're not chayev. So chayiv, the way they did in the Mishkan, they only erase things in order to write afterwards. And since the main thing is your kavanah, so it turns out the main thing by erasing is your kavanah to write afterwards. So it turns out there's a bit of a chiddush over here that even if you, let's say there's a splotch of ink on the paper.
But wait, this erasing that you chayiv. Now let's say you erase, like you say, without the writing, stamazay erasing. Now that's been a Torah, you chayiv, I mean they're upon it.
Minatayra, you're not chayiv. Midarabanan, it's osur.
Okay.
Because minatayra only chayiv when you have in mind to write something else in its place. And there's a bit of a chiddush over here by erasing, different than by writing. Because since by erasing the main thing is your kavanah to write in its place, 2 letters, that's why you're really chayiv for your kavanah. So if so, even if you don't erase 2 letters, let's say there's just a splotch of ink on a paper. There's a splotch of dirt. And you clean it off in order that you can write in its place, you're also going to be chayav for erasing.
Even though it's not
even though you didn't erase letters.
Because the erasing of the malacha of the Torah is an erasing in order to write. So even if you're erasing just a smudge, not an ice, it's interesting.
Since the main thing is your intention to write 2 letters in its place, so even for a smudge you're going to be chayav.
It's very interesting. You know what I just thought? Because I saw a doctor writing on Shabbos a few years ago. He's talking on the phone and writing something down. He's a neurologist. So I don't know, they call him like right before the operation. They have to ask permission or something. I don't know why they have to call the neurologist. I mean, I never asked him about it, but I just realized something. From what you're saying, if someone is writing on Shabbos, like he's a doctor, I don't know exactly how it works, the header. So if he makes a mistake, he shouldn't erase it. You should go weiter, because the erasing is by itself an issue. You don't need to do it, so don't do it.
You're right. Yeah.
I mean, it just dawned on me.
If you don't need
the
to
practical that if you're writing on Shabbos already, so don't erase anything. Go weiter.
That's a very good
I
point.
mean, I just thought of it now.
Yeah, it's a very valid point. And actually, there's a Pri Megadim in the Mishnah Berurah. They have a bit of a chiddush over here. They say that even if they say there's a case where you could erase letters, not having in mind to rewrite something, but you'll still be chayiv. How so? Minatayra.
Yeah,
How so? If you have a document and it says you owe $5,000, and either it's a mistake or you paid back some and you want to make the number smaller.
Yeah.
So let's say you erase some of the zeros.
Yeah.
So they say also in that case, since the erasing has a tikkun, you're doing something positive. It's
like writing.
They say also in that case, since your erasing is accomplishing something, you would also be chayav. So that's the Pri Megadim is not sure about it. The Mishnah Berurah takes it very strongly. He brings a bunch of proofs for it. Fine. There's so that's all the Hagdamas. So now let's get into some actual cases. So the first thing, the Bach has he has an interesting case. He says, what happens if you have a little bit of wax and it drops onto your sefer and it covers some of the letters?
Shabbos.
On Shabbos.
Yeah.
Are you and you want to learn the sefer? Are you allowed to peel off the wax on Shabbos? So he has a chiddush. He says no, it's aser, and it could even be a chiyuv midaraisa. Why? So because when the wax is on these letters, you can't read it. You can't see what's there. Therefore, when you take it off, it's as if you're writing those letters. Yes, it's a huge chiddush he has. And even though you're not actually writing the letters, just something fell, some dirt or some wax fell on top of it and is covering it. So if you peel it off, he says you're going to be chayav. You're going to be chayav d'oraisa. This actually gets very practical. If you have a bencher on Shabbos, sometimes the wine and grape juice spills on it and the pages get stuck together.
You have a problem.
If it's stuck together in the place where the letters are, if the actual letters are covered and they're stuck, according to the Bach, that's
leave it alone.
According to the Bach, that's a big issue.
It could be tearing letters or anything.
Yes, yes.
But he's saying that even without tearing it, you're not allowed to take off something that was covering the letters. Hey, stuff like you're writing, because before you couldn't see it.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Then there's a lot of people are attacking for this. There's the Mil Tzedakah, the Anarim.
They don't like it. It's too big cover.
They don't like it because he's coming with this. It sounds like he's saying that when it's covered with the wax, when this letter is covered, it's as if it doesn't exist. And when you take it off, all of a sudden it became written again.
But you know what? It could be that because he's saying when you take it off, you're being meichek. You're being meichek. That's what you're being meichek in order to. You know what I'm saying?
So that's how.
What else? See,
So the simple, right? So the most Mefarshim understanding that he's saying you're chayiv because of writing. The Machzis HaShekel and the Alter Rebbe, they say you're chayiv because of writing.
I just thought of it. In other words, like you said, if you're meichek in order to write, so here you being meichek in order to see the Isius.
So the Mishabura, he says what you were saying. He tries to answer because according to his Chiddush, what he said before, that when erasing, you're chayiv for erasing. Even if you have in mind to fix something, even if you're not going to actually write something afterwards, you're still going to be chayiv. It's the same thing over here. Before you couldn't read the letters.
Who said that? Like with the money in the star, the Bach?
That was the Mishabura.
What? He's mechadish this? That
It's a Prima Gadol's Chiddush, but he thinks it.
Gadol says a Chiddush that if you're racing, even if it's not the right, but it's to
fix something.
Right, I hear you. Okay, so that's the Prima Gadol. So in other words, Mishabura wants to learn in the Bach that the Bach is saying when you take off the wax, it's like that mechika of the star, the money that's what the Prima Gadol says.
Since you're fixing it.
Yeah. Okay.
So he says like you were saying. So.
I'll tell you the truth, usually I agree on usually I argue on this. He's too mad.
Because you didn't know what he's...
I argue. However, I should learn it at least. And I can argue.
Some other people say that even if you want to say there's no issue of writing or erasing, there still could be other problems of tikkun or makav patish. You're being misaken, you're fixing the sefer.
You can't...
Even if you either say there could be an issue of misaken, or there, and also if it's wax, there could be issue of muksa. So la halacha we're machmir. However, there's Chaim Na in the Kseis HaShulchan and also Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. They say that if it's on Shabbos and you're reading a Sefer Torah and there's wax on some of the letters, apparently that used to be more common one day because they used to check the Sefer Torah by the candlelight. So they say on Shabbos you could be makel and you could take it off in an unusual way. With a shinui, you can take it off.
Well, first of all, it's a mitzvah, Kriyas Torah.
Right.
And it's the Rabbah, it's the Zipor, maybe.
And you have to see the
It's a Zaira for the whole kid.
Yeah. So on Shabbos we'll be lenient. We'll rely on those shittas for matir. But stam regular on Shabbos, we're not going to be making. So you can't pull apart the benches when they're stuck. So.
That's the Kriyas Torah. You have
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have electric. They had chandeliers with candles. Probably was dripping all the time.
Yeah, they say the basic Kalim and the Shulchan Aruch, they say it happens all the time.
Yeah, they didn't have electric. They had the same like this, just these candles.
Yeah. Then the next question that comes up is that what's the din? Some people, when you go to libraries, they have on the side, they say public library or
a rubber stamp.
Or yeshiva, sometimes Bacham like to write their names on the side, or whatever they want to write.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, when you open up that Sefer on Shabbos, you're cutting the letters in half.
Right.
So when you close it, you're putting it back together.
Right.
Is that a problem of erasing and writing on Shabbos?
So that, it's a question. What the
So the Levush, he was a Talmud of the Ramah. So he writes, he says he has a chiddush that it's usher, and he says he thinks it might even be a chiyuv chatas. It might even be an isra de'oraisa. So that's the din he says. However, the Taz and the Ramah jump on this. There's there's a tshuva in the Rama where he says different. That what's the problem? The first of all, the Taz says, how can you say it's also midiraisa? The person's opening it. He doesn't have in mind. He doesn't have in mind to open it to write and erase. He's just trying to open the sefer.
Yeah.
How could he say there's a Yekir Chatos? He didn't even have it in mind.
Well, wait, isn't the, I mean, I'm sure I'm getting this in the wrong context, but isn't there this idea of a sick ratio?
Yeah.
And you open the book if that's what happens.
Right.
So you don't have to think about it.
Yeah, so it is a psikresha, so it's still the usher. So he goes further. First of all, the Rama says, why would in a tshuva he writes, why would it be mutter? He says, for example, you're allowed to open up the door and close the door on Shabbos, yeah?
Okay.
But if you have a hole in the wall, you're not allowed to put a board there in order to board. You're not allowed to board it up the hole in the wall.
Why?
Because that's baina, you're building. But opening the door, it's the thing about the door, you're also closing a hole, sealing up a hole.
Yeah.
So rather, what's the reason it's mutter? Because
That's the way.
that's the way it's used. That's the normal way. Doors are meant to open and close. You're not fixing. You're not breaking.
It's like a phrase. I don't know also.
Ain't Sira Binyomin Kriegsman.
Binyan steer Bekayla, maybe doors a Kayla. It's maybe, you know, it's all
Right.
I don't know. This could be wrong.
That is true. Yeah,
I'm
ain't
thinking
Binyan.
a thing I heard here and I never learned.
Yeah, that is Binyan Sira Bekayla.
Yeah.
But over here, it's a little bit of a different vert. Because over here, the vert is that you're not building or fixing. You're using it the way it's meant to be used.
Right.
It's not.
Oh.
You're not. It's meant to open and close. You're just using it the way it's meant to use. So he says the same thing when it comes to opening a sefer. The sefer you have the letters on the side. The sefer is meant to open and close it, and that's the normal. The letters there get spread apart and closed. It's the normal way of using it. You're not doing any malacha when you open and close it. And
Who says that?
this is the Rama in Tshuva.
Okay.
The Taz says another reason why. He says, just like we mentioned before, if you write something on this part of a paper, one letter here, another letter here, you're going to be chayiv, even though they're separated from each other. Why? Because it doesn't make a difference whether it's far or near. Who cares? It could be put together. As long as it could be put together and it could be equal a letter, who cares how much difference it is? Bring it apart, take it together, it doesn't matter. So he says the same thing over here. Who cares if you take it apart or bring it back together? It shouldn't make a difference. If you open it up, even if you open it up, you can always bring it back together.
I don't understand. He's saying a reason lahater should be mutter.
Lahatir. He's bringing a reason from where you see it's usher. He's bringing a reason that should be its mutter.
In other words, if you write two letters Shabbos, even that one next to the other, since you could bring it together, it's awesome in a Torah, like you wrote two letters.
So
Now,
you see,
so he wants to
it
say,
doesn't make a difference whether it's apart or together. It's the same thing.
what do you mean? So wait, so how does he say it's mutter to open the book?
From that din, you see that in halacha, it doesn't matter whether the two letters are next to each other or farther apart. It's always the same thing.
Still tired.
So, if so, on the sefer,
So wait, so that should be a reason to make it also to open the stuff.
but on the sefer, the letters are already written.
Yeah.
In this case, you wrote if you wrote two letters on Shabbos,
Yeah.
you're going to be chayiv because it doesn't.
Yeah.
We don't care whether it's together or apart.
Yeah, so.
But you can say the same thing backwards. If the letters are already written on Shabbos,
Yeah.
so why should I care if they get spread apart or they're brought back together?
Shabbos can be,
In other words,
somebody's answered during the week.
Yeah, someone snapped it during the week. The letters are already there.
yeah.
So what's it make a difference if they're spread apart or brought back together? The letters are there.
They were there already. And it's just like by Siva, you went and wrote them. So it doesn't matter what's apart or together, you're still chayav. So here, if you didn't write it, so the same thing should apply. You're not chayav, whether it's apart or together. I don't know. I don't see it
It's
so
always-
much because when you're
it's
putting
always
it together,
considered-
no, but when you're putting it together, it's like you're making a word. You open the sefer, you're cutting it, the word, and now you're closing the sefer. So maybe it should be also to close the sefer. I don't know.
Okay, let me put in other words. In a halacha, these words are always considered as if they're there together. They're always considered as if they're there together. Just like if you write on two separate papers.
Okay. In other words, by your closing the book, you didn't put it together. It was together anyway.
Yeah.
It's like
Just like on two separate papers. We consider as if they're together. So the here, who cares how far? We consider as if they're
So
together.
that's who the Taz.
The Taz.
And the Ramah, I forgot what was his.
The Ramah says it's just like opening a door. It's a normal way to use it.
It's the okay. You didn't do anything. Okay.
So these are the reasons to be matir.
Yeah.
These are the reasons to be matir, and this is taka how the Mishnah verse says where this is how he says we're makel, and Alter Rebbe says also we're to be makel.
Yeah.
However, obviously you should be if you shouldn't do lechatchila, you shouldn't get yourself into such a situation.
Stamp books on the side that you
Yeah.
have to use in Shabbos.
Lechatchila, you shouldn't do such a thing. And
Or if you have another chumash that doesn't have.
some of these books have the stamps on them. It has the letters on it on the pages.
Yeah, but I think the thing is the days that
So Maker I didn't. Right, the din la halacha we hold this. Well, we hold this mutter, but it's always good to be. The chatchil, it's always it's always better to avoid it. Fine, that's about. Also, the Eli Rabba, he has another bit of a trick. He says if you want to be extra careful, we said before, if you do something kil achar yad in a strange way, you're putter. He says, just open up the sefer in an unusual way, like with the back of your hand, or close it with the back of your hand. So you can add an extra reason to be extra careful if you have to. So if you ever have to open a book, you can do it in an unusual way. Fine. Now the next big question is, what's the halacha about eating cookies or cakes with letters on it on Shabbos?
It's already.
You don't do it.
I mean, they have the name of the brand. Let's say it's stamped into the cookie. I mean, it's erased in. Yeah, right. Those tea biscuits. That's an example.
So there's different types of writings.
Yeah.
So let's start to begin with cookies with which have the letters written on top of them. So you have one cookie, and then you have with the frosting, it's written on top.
That's a frosting, icing, whatever. It's a separate
so there are Shainim, there's the Mordechai and the Maharam. They write that they have these cookies which they make for kids, which with letters written on top.
Yeah.
So it says it's also to eat them on Shabbos for adults. Kids could eat them, but for adults it's going to be usher.
But it's part of the cookie.
So here we're not talking about. We're not talking about
inside. When it's
great
dip.
Oh, so that's the next stage.
Oh, okay.
He's talking not like.
If there's written in chocolate or it's written with something else on top.
That's okay. That's a different story. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the first stage. That's what the Maharam and the Mordechai are talking about. You say even though for kids it's mutter, for adults it's going to be also to eat these cookies. You can ask you questions. He doesn't have in mind to erase it. He doesn't have kavanah to erase the letters on the cookies. He's trying to eat them. And also, he's not trying, also for erasing, you're only chayiv when you have in mind to write afterwards. Over here, when he's eating the cookies, he doesn't have in mind to rewrite in its place. He's just eating them. So he says, you're right. Is going to be potter, but midrabanan it's taka aser to eat these cookies or cakes on Shabbos. So it's not going to be aser. So this is what he says, and this is what the Rama brings down in the Shulchan Aruch.
Okay.
Now the Taz jumps on this. Says how could he say such a thing? First of all, the whole Isra is only midrabanan. Second of all, even by Isra Deiraisa, like let's say Beirer on Shabbos, you're not allowed to separate what you don't need from what you do need. It's Isra Minatera, but still, if you do it derech achila, it's going to be mutter. Meaning you can't separate the bad from the good, but you could take the stuff you want, the good stuff, from the bad stuff to eat it right away. Why? Because it's a derech achila. Since it's a derech achila, it's the way of eating, it's mutter. Even by Yisur Deiraisa. So why is this any different? Derech achila, you're taking the cookie, you're eating it, derech achila, it should also be mutter. And it's only Yisur Derabanan.
Why is it only, let's just on that point, why is it only Yisur Derabanan? Because Minatayri can only be Maichik, but Surah of the Block is only when you're going to write. Or even the other way we said a ticket, or with all those things. You don't have any of that. You're just putting in your mouth.
Minatayri only chayiv if you have a mind to rewrite in its place.
So it's Derabanan number one, and number two, it's not actually Wasai or whatever.
It should be mutter.
It should be mutter.
Common to be mad, to be
But derech achila, even by Yisra Deraisa or matter, like
right, you
later.
take the fish from the bones, you're allowed.
Yeah. So what changed over here?
Yeah.
So Lepel the Taz is a matir, but he has big tinus on this halacha. He's,
Yeah,
he's
but
not matir, but he has complaints.
Oh, he didn't. The bottom line, he wasn't mad.
Yeah.
The cookie.
However, the Dagel Mervava, which is a Neidav Yehuda,
Yeah.
he wants to be matir.
Like a cake, even with icing, it's from
He-
another zach.
Mhm.
Jelly or whatever.
He wants to be matir, and he says there are two other things you could add on.
Okay.
Besides, first of all, he said he doesn't have kavana, and it's not almanas lichteiv,
Yeah.
and let's say chachila. But there's two other things.
Yeah.
First of all, it's mekalkel.
Yeah.
You're being destructive. All is sort of in the Torah, you're only chayiv when you're doing it when you're doing it in a positive way, when you're trying to get some benefit out of it. Over here, you're just destroying it, and you're not doing anything in its place.
Yeah.
So that's another reason. You'd say fourth reason he wants to be naked. Fifth reason he says is you're doing it kalach hayad. Since when did people erase things with their mouth? You erase things with your hand. And that's another reason to be makel, that you're doing a kalach hayad with your mouth. So he says with all these reasons, he says halacha he could be makel.
I was not the soil 2 weeks ago, and I gave a shiur on it. I'll have Shulchan Aruch, and he brought from the Ilchus Pesach and Matzah, right?
Yeah.
But finally he said, Rabbi Ashkenaz from Pachabat Tolem, before he passed away, that if you take the cookie, let's say awesome cookie, it says in the Aleph Samech, right? If you take the old cookie and put it in one shot in your mouth, you'll eat it, it'll be okay. But if you take the cookie and break it, you're going into question.
When I break with your teeth.
Oh, fine. So right. So that's
You get to it.
yeah.
Right,
So it's not so
But
far.
that's part of the cookie, the words, right?
Yeah.
The company put the name Osam on it, right?
But it's part of the cookie.
Yeah, yeah,
It's not like
it's
it's
not ice.
It's not
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
So he said, if you take the whole cookie and you put it in your mouth and you eat it,
There's no
according to
problem.
everybody is no problem. The problem starts is it doesn't say
you
you're not
break it
allowed
in
to.
half or something,
When you
you
start eating
take
it,
it
then
back.
you.
Oh, so it's not so posh. Not everyone.
Right.
There's some people who don't agree with that.
Right, he don't tell you it's awesome. He said,
yeah,
he told you this is the problem, but this for sure no problem according to nobody.
Here.
Yeah, and I think I saw some people. that don't
Exactly,
like it.
right. So he said, if you put the whole thing in your mouth and you eat it, it's no problem.
Dissolve.
Oh, then you have to put the whole thing in the mouth?
Yeah. Once it's inside your mouth, everything is okay.
Even the teeth? Even use your teeth out of it?
Once it's in your mouth.
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
If
so
you
well-
put the whole thing in one shot, it doesn't matter.
So some people say this now.
Anybody want?
So fine. So let's go. So how do we pass in la? So how do we pass in the halacha? So the Mishnah Berurah, he says when he goes like the Nagel Mervava, and he says he can be mekel when you're doing it derech achila. You bite into the cookie, you're doing it derech achila, and you have all the other hatayim, and he says that's fine. You can be mekel. However, the Alter Rebbe over here, he doesn't say that much. He says it's also to eat the cookies, and in later simonim you see, he says it's also to put it into a kid's mouth. So you see from over there.
It's not long.
Yeah, that we see over there that according to Alter Rebbe, we don't hold of this heter of derech achila.
But wait, I thought you said for a kid that wasn't.
For a kid, right? You can give it to a kid, but you can't put it into a kid's mouth because then
no,
you're
but by
doing it.
themselves. Let's say you have a birthday party for little kids. It says,
So you could put.
"Happy birthday, David," right on the cake,
Yeah.
jelly, on the cake. So you give it to them, and they go and eat it. They're allowed to.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
for you to take the piece of cake and put it in
Okay,
your
I
mouth,
wouldn't get.
But what do we see from that halacha?
Yeah.
We see from that halacha that Alter Rebbe doesn't hold of the heter of derech achila. He doesn't hold of that. So according to Alter Rebbe, it's also you can't eat the cookies. So the shaila is why we had so many heterim. Why the reason why it should be mutter? Taka, why do we hold this also?
Yeah.
So let's go to the first reason of the one reason the reason of the kalkel that you're being destructive.
Yeah.
So Chaim no on the Kseisa Shulchan, he says, what kind of you can't use that over here. The cookies, the letters on the cookies were meant to be eaten.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah.
If you have like a table and the table's supposed to be here and it's supposed to be here forever and you break it, that's called mekalkel, that's called
Yeah,
destroying.
this is not
But if you have a cookie and the cookie's meant to eat, it's not called mekalkel destroying it. You're using it for what it's meant for.
Yeah.
So he doesn't like that heter. He says that heter is gone.
Yeah.
What about in the heter of kalachar yad? You're doing it unusual way. He says it doesn't work here either
Because
because
all eating is with
because
your mouth.
this cookie, the normal way to or eating it is a normal thing you do with it.
Yeah.
So the normal way to erase letters on a cookie is going to be through eating it.
Yeah.
So also,
Kol Achayat.
so the whole kalachayat is also flimsy. And what was the next thing? The next thing was the part of the Taz that he says that derech achila is mutter. So that was a little. So the Prima Godim tries to give a hesber to give a difference over there. He says when it comes to bayur, that it's mutter to take the good from the bad because derech achila. It's not only because it's derech achila. It's also not derech bayur. Sai is derech achila, and it's not the derech to do bayur. Derech to do bayur is you take what you don't want away. So you have both things. Whereas when it comes to the cookie, taka it's derech achila, but could you say it's not derech meichik? It's not the derech to be meichik. You're taking it. You're breaking up the letters. Say it again. He wants to.
I understand that there's two elements by fire, but the heter is based on two binyamin.
So it's an interesting chiluk he came up with.
Right. But the thing is, to say that it's not mekalko, this I can hear, okay, because what else are you going to do except eat it? So it's not shy mekalko, but on the other hand, how with mechika, usually taka mechika is at the hand, here.
Nobody's working with his mouth.
Right, so I'm saying
That's
I don't see you could knock off this reason is still it still seems to me
Right,
a lahata.
but that's basically saying when is it not the derech to erase with your mouth? When you have letters on a paper, it's not the derech to erase with your mouth and chew it up. But if you have letters on a cookie, what's the normal way to destroy the letters?
You don't destroy, you eat it.
What's the normal way to erase it?
No, but
But when you
It's
eat
not-
it, we're saying it's usher.
I don't see the smart because here we're talking about mechika. So this is a different way. It's galachiyat, whatever you want to call it.
It's different, but is it the normal? You're right. It is different than usual, but is it the normal way? In this circumstances, this is the way
That's
you're
the normal
erasing this
way.
cookie. Is this normal, or you're doing something unusual by eating this cookie?
No, I don't see that point because we're talking about mechika. Mechika is an abstract thing. It's an issa Shabbos that so 99% of the time is mechika. It's mechika. It's not something that just in the question is if by doing this you're doing mechika. So I had time to know it's galachiyat. It's galachiyat l'gabe the iser of mechika. It's not galachiyat l'gabe eating. You always eat with your mouth. But here we're talking about mechika. I don't know. I think I would be mechal. I don't know. All right.
There's that. You could definitely argue.
Explain it.
Right. You could definitely argue. There are different shittas, but this is what Chaim Nuss says in order to explain the shittas that are machmir. Fine. So that's regarding eating the cookies. So let's say if there are any ways you could get what ways are there you could get around this? So there's a Gemara that talks about that matzahs on Shabbos on Pesach if you have some forms on it, you're not supposed to do lechatchila. If it has some pictures, if you have some drawings on it, lechatchila you shouldn't do it. You shouldn't make matzahs like that for Pesach. But b'diavad you could be yetzer with them. And it's brought down in Shalta brings down Shulchan Aruch. So the question is, why is the mutter there? So there's the mat. So there's
But in other words, the Alter Rebbe who says you can't eat the cookie, you cannot eat the cookie.
But
But
some
by
other Rebbe
matzah-
says, "Mamatzahs you're allowed."
He says you're allowed.
There's-
Okay.
Which is why? What's the difference?
Yeah, okay, I'm just trying.
this halacha by matzah it's mutter.
Yeah, okay.
So there's a shit of the Marash Halevi, the Magen Avraham brings it down, He says that there's a difference. When is this whole Isser of eating the cookies? After when the ink is on top of the cookies.
The icing.
But if it's part of the cookie, if it's engraved into the
Yeah.
cookie,
Like a company put the name on the cookie,
Yeah.
right? It's engraved inside.
So yeah.
it's going to be mutter.
So wait, so you think Mechalik, you're saying the Alter Rebbe would also say you can eat a cookie if it's part of the...
Before the Alter Rebbe.
Yeah, I mean-
the halacha, no. The halacha of the Alter Rebbe, we'll see. This in Shulchan Aruch, this din is brought down. This din is brought down
By a matzah, he says, yeah.
by a matzah.
So it should, so
The Alter
cookie
Rebbe-
should be the same unless it's icing.
Seemingly.
Like the lotion is different over there in the matzah.
So seemingly it would be the same. So the actual lady says it's going to be mutter since it's part of the cookie. But the question is, what kind of heter is? Who cares whether it's part of the cookie, it's not part of the cookie? You have letters, you're erasing. What does it matter? So the Mishnah Berurah, the way you see his masber, it sounds like he's saying that when it's part of the inzay ksiva, it doesn't inshaim ksiva Allah. It's not considered writing. It's not considered letters if it's part of the cookie.
The guy never explained to me that let's say you eat a bagel and it's a round, right? So you're breaking a circle? No. You're eating a bagel, but the bagel is circle. You're eating a bagel that is square. You're breaking a square? No. So when you break the leather on the matzah that you eat it, that's the matzah. The matzah is round. That's how he said it.
But shapes aren't. There's no problem with erasing shapes on Shabbos.
So he said that
Shapes
the
aren't
Rabbi
considered.
write that the matzah.
What if you have a cake which is the whole cake is shaped as a letter?
Right, so it's you make a dalet or shin from a cake, right? You're not breaking the shin, you're eating the cake.
Oh, so
It's a question, though. You are breaking the shit.
I'm saying the same thing like you eat a pretzel. The pretzel is circle, right? So you're breaking now a samach? No.
right, so you're saying that if the actual cake is a certain
What's the kavana? Not eat the cake is not eat the cake, or that you worry,
That's-
bring the letter or not.
so the main thing over here is the cake. The letters are secondary. You don't really see the cake. So I think someone wrote down the Chazon Ish, I think, says a word like that. There's two other Esbeirim. The Chai Adam tries to say that he says a cookie is not something which is going to last. Food eventually it goes rotten, it goes bad. So if the actual letters are part of it, that means the letters are also food, and it's also not going to last.
Yeah.
So it's not davar hamiskayim. It's not something which is going to last. So that's why you could be makel in such a case, since it's not something that's going to last for a long time. So that's his explanation. Chaim Ross has a different explanation that it's unusual. It's uncommon for people to usually write something, you put something else on top of it. Since it's something unusual, that doesn't happen so often, we're not going to make it usher in such a case. So those are a few different hezbollah.
You know, it's usually ksiva is on top, is superimposed on whatever you're writing, you know. But when it's a chalik of the thing,
Right. Usually
it's
writing,
not
you're
happening.
putting
The cookie
ink,
comes
something.
out in a machine. It's already.
Today you have
with the writing in it.
cake and chasana, right?
Yeah.
The middle of the chasana, someone take a picture from the chasana kala and go to a bakery and print the picture.
Yeah,
on the cake.
I've
So that-
seen it. I've seen it.
Could you eat this cake on Shabbos?
That's the problem.
Shabbos
I don't know. This might be a
Is this leather?
It's
Or this is part of the cake? This is
really
ingredient, or this is like when you take the chocolate and write down happy birthday, right? So you write on the cake happy birthday.
Yeah,
But the
that's
picture,
icier.
wait,
That's icier.
but the picture is
Supersede or go against pageantry. So when somebody comes and they're coming and presenting a birthday cake, for instance, to a person whose birthday is on Shabbos, and it's written over there, happy birthday, whatever the name is, that's the pageantry part. They're presenting, happy birthday, singing happy birthday, but then they want to eat the cake. So they go into a different mitzvahs. There's one leading to the other that because of that, I can't cut all those letters that they wrote in
That's why they put it on a piece of chocolate.
I understand that.
Also,
I'm saying what happens if halacha because you're cutting.
La'alacha, according to Alter Rebbe, you
cannot
can't eat the letters.
go to
We'll
the
see.
we cannot.
The place can say that you could cut in between the letters. You could cut, and also you could peel off the letters. That would also be okay.
What happens if you licked it off?
If you lick it off, that's also a problem.
It's
But
about,
the Mishnah Berurah will
no,
be.
if you put the whole thing in your mouth, the letters.
That's you allowed to.
So
That we said
the Mishnah
before.
Berurah says derech achila is mutter. The Alter Rebbe doesn't hold of derech achila. So we'll get. Well, some places can say that if you put it in your mouth, but we'll see. We'll get to that in a second. So there's this heter of if it's part of the cookie. So Mishnah Berurah takes that heter and he holds it la'alacha. The Alter Rebbe, in a different siman in Hilchos Pesach, he says that if you have matzos on Pesach which have numbers or letters on it, because you want to know which one is Kohen Levi Yisrael, it's also you're not allowed to eat it on Shabbos because you're going to be erasing it. It's usher. Even in singular, how do you have letters on the matzah? It's part of the matzah. So
Like Dafke Shabbos or Yom Tov?
Yom Tov also.
Yeah,
So you see, Alter Rebbe doesn't hold to this heter that it's a part of it.
yeah, okay. But he says by matzah,
There's two Alter Rebbes in Hilchos Matzah.
so one says if it has the brand name, the matzah's made, it says on it. So you're allowed, you're allowed.
According to the Mishnah Berurah, the heter will be mutter because he holds to the
No, I'm
heter.
saying with the Shulchan Aruch Rav, he says
If
you're-
it's letters, it's going to be usher. If you have letters
you're
in,
not allowed, but then,
even if it's part of the matzah, it's going to be usher.
now what about the numbers? He said, Kohen Levi Yisrael or whatever.
Numbers and letters is going to be
What does it
usher.
say?
Either way, but the matzah is awesome.
The question is, there's another. So this Alter Rebbe is in Siman Taf Nun Ches. There's another Alter Rebbe in Siman Taf Samach, where he says that if you have matzah with pictures or designs of birds or different things, that's going to be mutter. You shouldn't do it because it takes time. But with the evet, it's going to be. But you could use it. You could eat on Shabbos. There's no problem.
It's not OCS, so it's not since maybe it's not really the feet.
Oh, so the question is what's going on.
Yeah.
So this really starts from the Magen Avraham, that the Rishonim who said this Isser, the Mordechai and Maram, they said the cookies which have letters on it is going to be Asr. So the Magen Avraham says that this Sarich Iyun. According to this, why is letters any different? Why is letters any different than pictures? According to this, pictures should also be Asr.
Yeah, okay, the Ramas. Okay.
This is the Magen Avraham.
Magen Avraham.
The Magen Avraham says this. Why only letter? Why if so pictures also?
Yeah.
So most people in Mishnah Berurah and the Master Shekel and other places they understand that the kavanah of the Magen Avraham is takanami. Inachinami, he's saying that pictures are also asur, which makes sense because making pictures is also part of the malacha ksiva of writing on Shabbos. It's also part of the malacha.
But wait a minute, when you make a picture, you're not making two ices, you're not making any ices. You said that the Absura, the Deraisa, is to write an os.
Oh, so you're saying in the Deraisa you have to have two letters.
Well, the Deraisa, we said that even if you write an os, and okay, wait, whatever. So you said Chatzi Shir, right? Chatzi Shir.
Yeah.
But a picture of a bird or whatever it is, I mean, unless it's part of a code, to make like an alphabet from pictures.
So you're asking by a bird, how do you have two letters?
Yeah.
How do you have the shir of two
You
issues?
have one letter. Race.
How do you? I don't know. Maybe. I'm not sure. Maybe because a picture, it has many designs, many lines, many. I'm not sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean, I can understand if you'll make yourself an alphabet. A bird means B. A cat is C, right? So then you'll have like a writing that's from symbols instead of from letters. That you're not allowed. It's the writing. But if it's just a picture of a bird, right? A stump for a decoration, right? I know what it's the paintbooks that have a picture of I don't know what it's a safe timer or whatever, something on the matzah. So it's not OCS. I mean, you're saying that a timer.
Right. Lahalacha, we hold pictures as it falls into the same category of
I don't know
writing.
why, really.
You're saying how does it fit with the
What's the
klolim?
Hezbollah?
How does it fit with the klolim of only that you have to have two issues?
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Okay, but I mean, it's angenommen that that's the way it is. Okay,
Yeah.
So we just need the Hezbollah. Right, okay. Anyway,
So-
we're in the middle.
So there's so everyone understands. Most people understand that that he's saying that Magen Avraham is saying Finami is taka aser. However, they say such shulchan. He understand. He says we see taka the Magen Avraham is saying that l'chira he is asking a question. Picture should also be aser, but you also see from the Magen Avraham he understood from the Rishonim and the Aram that they only were being aser by letters. That's why I had a question. Why, if so, why aren't pictures aser? So you see, even though the Magen Avraham himself was saying l'chira pictures should be aser, but you also see he understood the Mordechai and the Maram that they were only being aser by letters and not by pictures.
Wow. Who said this?
The Chaim no, the Ksesa.
Oh, so therefore,
That's your point.
what we're getting from the Rishonim, we're getting a Hira just on.
So the Magen Avraham has the question why, but
Yeah.
you see what their intention was.
Yeah, wow.
So
So that's Lahater. That's an argument, Lahater.
right. So the question is, could he be matir? So are we going to be matir with just pictures up? With just
Yeah.
what about? So the Chaim himself, he only says to be makel by pictures which are part of the cookie.
Okay.
He only says to be makel by pictures which are part of the cookie, and that fits perfectly with Alter Rebbe
Yeah.
and Simchav Samach. He says matzos which have
Yeah.
pictures on it. Which talk about matzos which are pictures which are part of it.
Yeah.
It's gonna. He says it's gonna be mutter.
Okay.
So that's how the Alter Rebbe is learning. It's not so clear what's the difference though between pictures and letters. Pictures is a tolda of letters. It's a tolda of letters, but that's enough of a reason to differentiate. They're both the Isra and Al-Torah, so that's not so clear.
The
What's the
reason
reason?
in Matzah, you write Tmuna or Diot, like put it in one category.
Shmona and Isis?
Yeah, it's like putting them together as one.
I don't think so. Not in Tav Samach?
I remember when I heard this Gio, so he said it's hard to understand because in one line he put the lotion is like when people will make matzah and they do a design or a leather. That's the lotion. Like you put them together. So he was asking a question. What's the difference of putting it together? The guy didn't mention like he was pointing it. It's like if we out there will put two separate. One halacha is do not put leather. One halacha then they understand. But he, like in one line he had the button, so it was like hard to understand.
Right. Okay. Interesting. What time?
9:30. You have another minute. We're waiting for two people to
We
come.
don't have a minute
So-
yet.
Okay. So the pearl. What about in?
I think it's good to do like a sover, not allowed sover and Shabbos. Sover. So
Yeah.
when you make a picture, it's like sover. And when you grade the picture, you're not sover anymore. So it's like erasing sover. I think, I don't remember if I remember correctly, but maybe I make it wrong.
Okay. So now the question is, where the heter? Some people say heter. There's a heter if you put it in your mouth at one time. Okay, what does that matter? The Alter Rebbe says derech achila is aser. So what does help if you put it in your mouth at one time? Where does this heter come from? So the Chaim Noah, at first he didn't see the Alter Rebbe in Tav Samach, in Tav Nun Ches, where he says that it's going to be aser to have letters which are engraved. It's aser to eat it. So the Chaim Noah says that if you have letters which are part of the cookie, he says it could be mekel, according to the Marash Levi, that if it's part of the cookie it's mutter. But he says dafka, but he says still you should put it in your mouth. You should put it in your mouth. Why does that help? Because it's not nicker. You can't see the letters being broken up in your mouth.
It's like you're eating the cake. You
So
don't
he
see
doesn't-
it.
Eating the whole cake and not eating the seed.
Yeah.
It's
So-
problem, mate.
So it's an interesting heter because like no one mentioned it's a new thing he came with. No one mentioned such a heter before. It sounds like the ikar he's being samech on the that since it's part of the cookie being able, he doesn't want to fully rely on this since people have questions. He says also put it in your mouth at one time. But the thing is, later in the back, in the Miluyim of the Ksei Shulchan, he says I just saw the Alter Rebbe in Tav Nun Ches, where he says that it's going to be usher when the letters, if you have letters which are part of the matzah. So the question is, does he still hold of the heter he said before?
That he went back on himself or not?
Because it sounds like
He's machmir now.
the main heter he was relying on before was because it's part of the cookie.
Now it's changing.
But once the Alter Rebbe, so some placing him, I think in Shmir Shabbos Hilchos in Shabbos Halacha and Farkash, he says no, we still hold with that heter. But other Svarim, other Avodim, they say no, that doesn't last anymore, and it's going to be elsewhere. That's regarding. Fine. So that's regarding the cookies. What about cutting? What about cutting in between the letters, just taking off the letters? So everyone agrees that's mutter. There's some places you want to say that according to some shittas it's still going to be usher because when you cut in between the letters,
You separate the letters.
even though you separate, but what's different by a sefer? The reason why it's mutter to cut in between the letters, just like by a sefer which has letters on the side, we hold it's mutter, since you can just bring it back together, take it apart, so it's over here. But some say that it's possible to differentiate that. It's different because you can't bring it back the same way it was. Before it was one cake, and now it's separate pieces, even though you bring it back together. But lahalacha, everyone taka takes on. You're allowed to cut in between. You're allowed to cut in between the letters. You're even allowed to take you're even allowed to take peel off the letters, cut off the top.
Jewish bakeries know already that these days when somebody order birthday for Shabbos, or Shabbos whatever, so they take a cookie, write down mazel tov whatever, and put it on top of the cake. So when you take this cookie and put it in, the whole cookie put it. Yeah, they do it. That's because of that. Because a lot of they went into this. Yeah, a lot of Jewish bakeries are doing it. So when you want to eat the cake, no problem. You just pick up like a square or a round. Put it on the side. You're not moichik, you're not nothing. But this you don't eat. This you
Boy, wait.
No, you're not boiler.
Take away
I saw it at the bakery.
No,
I
you have
didn't know
two
that's the reason.
one
I
cake
saw
and
it
put
2
that.
years
Just
ago,
put
right
it-
here in Isaac. He had the
Not only Isaac, a lot of Jewish bakeries are doing it. A lot
No,
of
I ראיתי את זה, אבל I
They don't
know
put
the
it on the
reason.
cake.
That's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
Shabbos.
it's
Now
fine,
I'm putting it together.
Then there's a few other interesting cases about. So we said before that like by the cake you're allowed to take apart the letters and put them back together because who cares if they're here or there. So the question is, what about if you have some marbles or some Cheerios and the kid and you wanna and you organize them?
Alphabet.
You organize them.
Alphabet,
Let's say even just Cheerios. You want to organize them to shape letters out of the cereal or marbles or something. Is that on one hand, well, if we said that you're just reorganizing things.
You're writing or not writing?
So even though we say that by letters that it doesn't matter if you take it apart, put it together, but you already have letters. Over here, it's different. To begin with, there are no letters. You're creating the letters from scratch. Even by the Sefer, when you're opening it up, to begin with, there are letters.
It was there.
So it's there, but you're just separating and bringing it back together. But over here, to begin with, there were never letters. So to move different things and organize into shape letters or pictures, that's going to be Asr on Shabbos.
Like one quick question.
Yes, like
Max,
playing Scrabble.
Oh,
Or Lego, the kids play Lego and they write down Shin Bet Tav.
oh, so Scrabble will be
You're
mutter.
allowed to?
No.
Scrabble is
Lego,
mutter.
but don't write letters with it.
Scrabble is mutter.
Why? But you're writing words.
You're writing words, but if the letters are already there, just like by the cake, if you have separate letters, you're allowed to cut them, separate them, move them back together.
The letters are there, but you're making words. It's like,
But, so there's,
I don't know. I am not a placer.
so the question about this case, there's a Ramah. The Ramah says, Magen Avram, he says if you take letters and you pin them pin them to something, if you pin them to and you spell out a word through pinning them, attaching them on, it's also because of ksiva. But the question, why is that any different than moving the letters around? We said before, you could move the letters, you can bring them back together, there's no isser. So here also you have letters, you're just moving them around. So what most of the places we say it's different because you're attaching it. It's different. If you're just organizing the letters, so you're just changing the order of the seder. But when you attach them to a piece, when you attach them to a background, if you attach them into a setting, then that's not going to be usher because of ksiva. We're just reorganizing, so Scrabble or something like that, where you're just reorganizing it. Unless you put it into a certain setting, it's going to be mutter. But puzzles, you're actually attaching the pieces to each other, and you're creating a picture.
Great. That's right.
Puzzle, that's going to be usher. And but also, like let's say combination locks, which you also have to move the numbers to bring a certain number. Or you have these games which you have to get the alphabet or the numbers in order, and they're all set into the pieces. They're all attached in. So halacha, that's also going to be mutter, because even though it's attached into the setting, but you're not adding anything to it. You're just changing the order. You're not making them any more set in than they were before.
Well, one practical question. You said the children are allowed to eat these with the letters. Is this like before Well, I mean, like this, let's say you have a birthday cake, and you give one of the kids a knife, and you could cut it up. You know what I'm trying to say? You know.
You cannot put in his mouth, but he could.
Yeah, he does it himself. So I just want to know: is it would it become usher when he's 9 years old? It's a thinner opinion, or it's not? It's not like that.
So halacha, we say Basin doesn't. If Basin sees kids doing these things, they don't have to. They don't. There's a halacha that if Basin sees kids eating treif, they don't have to go and stop.
They have to be.
But then there's a mitzvah of chinuch. There's a mitzvah to be mechanech to your kids to teach them. So there's two. So it's two different things. On one hand, there's pashadin. There's what's the halacha. It's also for the kid. But then there's a chiyuv on the parents. The parents have a chiyuv to be
I'm
mechanech.
saying it could be an 8. So let's say there's a birthday and they have such a birthday cake with icing, and they didn't put it on a chocolate. No, now you're stuck. So maybe you could get out of it. One kid is 6 years old or something. Give him a knife, and then I'm saying, I mean,
No, I was
I
suggesting
love
to give a
him.
6-year-old a knife.
No, but I'm just saying he's not a gila enough, but he's still capable. He could probably cut it.
I don't know. I'm not sure. It's a different sugya. It's in Shin and Gimel about what you could have a kid do or not. Not sure.
But they could eat it if they're eating cookies that's
Yeah.
already with lettuce.
They could eat it, yeah, and you don't have to stop
You
them.
know.
On Pesach, there's a guy who went to the park to eat. On the bench, sitting on the bench, and he eating. So there's a blind man sitting next to him. Blind man. And he hear, what's the noise? Right? He said, I'm making the matzah. Hey, they said. He said, who ordered?
Who what?
He said to him, who ordered?
Oh.
Okay, all the
Braille. You felt the braille.
Braille.
Interesting. Another.
It's not, for him, it's not Mechik Deis.
Another interesting halacha, we said erasing is even by a splotch of ink. So what happens if someone gets ink on their hands? Are you allowed
Shabbos.
on
You got
Shabbos? You get dirt. Are you allowed to wash it off on Shabbos, or is it like erasing? So usually, if you get ink or if you have pen writing on your hand, usually it's not going to come up from just washing it. So you don't have kavanah for it to write it off, and also it's not secret. The patches won't get washed off. So you can do it. Just make sure you don't scrub it, wipe it off when it comes off. But what if it's taka? You have something on which is going to get washed off. If you do Natil Sidain, what are you supposed to do? So some places say it's going to be aser, but Chaim no, in the Kseis HaShulchan, he has a chiddush over there. He says the reason we're aser for erasing a splotch of ink is because it's aser mishum chika if you're going to write in its place. So even if you don't have in mind to write in its place, it's still aser l'chatchila. But you said, when is it asur l'chatchila? Only if it's on something which you normally write. If it's on a paper, or if it's on a board, or on a book, something which is normal to write, then it's going to be asur. But if it's on your hand, it's not normal to write on your hand. So,
What if you do what I do?
Oh, not writing. Let's say a splotch. It's not normal to write on your hand. So if you have a splotch on your hand, you could, just like if you have a spot of dirt on the table, you can wipe it off. Also on your hand, because you don't normally write on the table.
Yeah, okay.
But that's only by a splotch of ink. But if you actually have letters or numbers on your hand, so, and if it's going to get washed off through washing your hands, so you're not going to have a problem. So I think, so some people say, I think you should have a guy doing the Natil Sidain for you. So I don't know, you have to find some eitzes.
Usually,
in a case like that.
Ink and pen, it won't come off. It won't come off just from Natil Sidain.
Right, yeah.
I mean, you have to really rub.
So usually you won't have such a big problem like this.
Somebody sent me a picture from a Jew from Australia. He was in jail and they were bothering him. So when he came out, he wanted to be a Jew. So on the left hand, put from here to here, the whole koiset, tattoo, the whole koiset, I'm a Jew. He made punk fakir.
Yeah, some of the people they wrote Shema Yisrael, the whole pasuk.
I saw unbelievable stuff on the subway.
Whatever, but
Yeah, some interesting stories.
They don't know. They never.
For sure, one
we're
person.
missing one more, so you could continue.
What? Yeah, what happened to the mission?
And
I just started this, man.
there's one more interesting thing. If some letters,
You can get somebody from like, you can get somebody.
Calling somebody? Call him, please. Thank you.
so another interesting case is some shoes have letters on bottom. And if you walk on the snow on Shabbos, you leave the imprint and you leave the letters over there. So what's the din over there? So everyone agrees it's mutter. The question is why. So one of the reasons say it's mutter is because, first of all, it's not a davar miskayim. It's not something that's going to last. It's going to melt. And it's not davar miskayim. Also, you're doing it kol achar yad. You're not doing it the normal way of writing. So it's already two reasons why it should be. You already have two midarabanan. You have two reasons why it's not asur min atayra. And also, it's a psik reisha. Also, you're not miskavin. You're not miskavin to do it. It's a psik reisha. So first of all, it's an miskavin by two isurim darabanan. Two darabanan, one after another. And also, it's a psik reisha delay nichalei. There's two dargas in psik reisha. There's a regular psik reisha, cutting up. If there's a psik reisha that you wanted something good, you want it to happen. So there, everyone agrees it's asur. But what if it's something that you don't have kavanah for it, but it's for sure going to happen, but you don't care about it. You don't even want it to happen. So over there's a machlekes rishonim whether we could be making one. So I'm not sure for all you say behind that, but definitely over here when there's two read where it's not davar miskayim and it's kol achar yad, you can definitely be saying on those shittas.
But at the same time, to go ahead and put the ABC on the leather on the snow and Shabbos, that's you're not allowed.
That's usher. Midrabanan.
Even though it's not Miskayim,
Even though it's not
you're
Miskayim,
not allowed.
it's usher midrabanan.
That's why they told Ador on Shabbos they're playing with the snow. They said, do not play with the snow on Shabbos. Walk on at this, but do not play because you might come to writing ABC or whatever.
That's why you can't make syllables. Or is it because of Baina? What is it?
And also you might do it from Shdrabim to Shudayachim.
Yeah. Then, yeah, I think I said everything I have to say.
Shkoya. Beautiful, beautiful. Al-Pi Kabbalah, what does it mean? Today's Levi Yitzchok Yotzek.
Yeah, I don't have anything on this, but there's a few interesting verses from Levi
You'll call
Yitzchok.
the meaning coming in, yeah.
There's one verse I saw. There's the name. He's Masbir. Why Yisachar is spelled in the Torah with two shin. Yisachar with two shin.
You write one. You said one, but you write two.
Also, do you say Yisachar? Do you say both of them? You say one of them. So
The first time you land it, I think, you say you sus. The first time. That's what they call it. In Shabbos Rabbi Binyomin, when he became the Rav, he explained before the landing what was doing that. The first time you're supposed to say you sus. And afterwards you say you suck.
So there's a Torah from the Rebbe's father. He says two shins. One shin refers to the to go from the revealed part of Torah.
Yeah.
There's a Chumash, Gemara, Mishnah, Yisachar. The second shin, Yisachar was the Talmud of Chacham. So the first shin shows on the revealed part of Torah, and the second shin shows on the hidden part of Torah. There's Chassidus, the Primus of Torah. So it shows in two different parts. So the Rebbe says, according to this, it's a Primus of Torah. So it should go quietly, since it's the hidden part of
The
Torah.
second one should not be pronounced.
Since it's the hidden part of
So
Torah.
that's
There's a revealed part of Torah and the hidden part of Torah.
Yes,
Rabbi
yes,
Yitzchak.
yes.
No, Rabbi Yitzchak said what? The whole Torah, or he just said that
He said,
the second shin is Myra of
I'm
Pneumius?
Primus of
And the
Torah.
Rebbe said that's why
according to
you
this,
say it.
yeah.
Oh wow.
I saw Betlach and Pirkei Avos from Levi Yitzchok. The names from every Mishnah who's saying it, the way he's saying it, it's unbelievable.
That's the Rebbe.